This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, welcome in. It's Cashing Out with me, Joe Ceraulo, right here on VSiN, taking you through the late hours of your Thursday night into your Friday morning, getting your weekend started. It's my Friday night, technically, so we are approaching the weekend fast and furious here on the program. Thursday night, NBA action. Detroit Pistons got a win over my Knicks. We'll cover all the action around the association on the diamond, light slates in each. The hockey was pretty entertaining on Thursday night. And we'll look ahead to the weekend to come as the NBA regular season wraps up on Sunday. We'll dive into all of that here shortly. Let's actually start in the association. Mentioned the Pistons over the Knicks in Detroit. No Hart, no Anunoby for the Knicks. Detroit wins and covers 115-106 in that contest. Jalen Brunson, light night. He's had some monster performances against Detroit since becoming a Knick. He had just 15, 5 assists. Karl Anthony Towns had 25 points, 10 boards, 5 assists. Precious Achiuwa, starting in the absence of Anunoby, 18 and 10. He went for a double-double. But the Knicks unable to get there. For Detroit, they were relatively healthy. I'd say that this team was actually, pretty much at full health. Tobias had 17. Jalen Duren, the big out of Memphis, 18 points, 13 boards in the double-double. Cade Cunningham with a monster night, 36 points, 8 dimes for Detroit. They had 6 guys in double figures, couple off the bench. And the Pistons still alive for the 5 seed in the East. How about the Knicks were up 6 at the half? And then it was tied going into the 4th. Detroit really finished strong. Indiana, speaking of that 4-5 seed, the Pacers are now just a game behind the Knicks. The Knicks can clinch the 3 seed with just one more win in their final 2 games. Although not easy contests. Cleveland Friday night coming up. That's going to be tough. We'll see if the Cavs play anyone. At least on the front end of this back-to-back, Cleveland elected to sit the majority of their stars. They still only lost by 2. How about that? They were winning going into the 4th quarter. 114-112. Indiana gets there over the Cavs. 10-point favorites, Indiana. I mean, you look at this Cleveland starting 5. No Mitchell, no Garland, no Mobley. Hunter started, had 23 and 11. Jarrett Allen, starting center, played only 16 minutes, 10 boards in 16 minutes. Pretty insane. Ty Jerome gave him 24. Okoro off the bench added 13. The Cavs, they certainly... It didn't look like they were playing to win, but the guys out there gave Indiana a run. For the Pacers, Halliburton, 23 points, 10 assists, 8 boards. Siakam, rough night for him, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Nesmith had 22. Indiana had 7 guys in double figures. Obi Toppin added 10 off the bench. Mathurin had 13 off the bench. Kind of alarming for Indiana. You got the win over Cleveland. Like on paper, at a glance, that looks great, but again, no Garland, no Mitchell, no Mobley. Kind of alarming to only beat the Cavs down so many key cogs by 2, as the Pacers will likely be the 4 seed, and likely, although it's not decided, it's not definitive, they will likely take on Milwaukee in the 4-5. Bucks 2-game lead over Detroit with 2 to play. They beat New Orleans 136-111. On Thursday night. Giannis had 28 points and 11 boards to lead the way for Milwaukee. Kyle Kuzma added 17. Brook Lopez, really rough night. 3 points, 1 board. He was MIA. Big night for some of the reserves from Milwaukee. I mean, they got, my goodness, what's that? 7, 38, 41, 61. They got 70 points off their bench. How about Milwaukee got more points off their bench than their starting 5? Porter had 20. Trent Jr. had 17. Bobby Portis, he's back. 14 points, 8 boards. Portis going to be huge for Milwaukee should they attempt to make a little playoff push, although it'll be tough without Dame Dalla out there. For New Orleans, a couple of 20 pieces off the bench. Lester Quinones had 21. Jamal Cain had 20. I mean, this is an unrecognizable Pelicans starting 5. I mean, they only played 8 guys. It's a light rotation. I was laughing. I was, looking at the matchups on ESPN earlier in the day, and they show like the players to watch on the right, to the right of the game. And for New Orleans, players to watch, it said Elfrid Payton, averaging 4.7 assists per game. He was the player to watch for New Orleans. That's how unrecognizable the Pelicans are right now. By the way, Payton, only 2 points, had 15 dimes. How about that? 136-111. Bucks blow the doors off New Orleans. Disappointing year for the Pelicans is an understatement. Hawks went to Brooklyn, beat the Nets, 133-109. Atlanta, we never bet it, so I don't feel bad about missing it, but would have been a nice little prediction when I was filling in on a numbers game post-Super Bowl for a couple of weeks with Kelly Bidlin. Talked about the Hawks at the All-Star break being nearly 5-1 to win their division. Now, Orlando's finished strong. Magic have a 2-game lead over the Hawks with 2 to play. It might be they might have one with each other. I have to look that up. Atlanta has 2 games left against Philly and Orlando. So I don't believe Orlando's clinched the division. But regardless, the Hawks probably not going to win the division. That will be, though, in all likelihood, 7-8 game. Magic Hawks for the play-in. 133-109. Hawks over the Nets. Trae Young, 24 points, 12 dimes. Atlanta had, what did they finish with? 6 guys in double figures. Dyson Daniels, 10 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds. Just missed a triple-double. 1 dime, 1 board shy, 3 steals for a guy who I believe is not getting the love he deserves in the Defensive Player of the Year race. They've gone final in Memphis, Minnesota, 141. The Grizzlies, 125. Ant-Man, nice casual 44-point performance for Anthony Edwards in Memphis. Jules Randle, 31-10. Rudy Gobert, 13-8. Naz Reid, 14 off the bench. Minnesota shot 46% from 3, 20 of 44. The Grizz, 50%, 18 of 36. Raining threes in this one. It went way over that posted total. Finishing at 266 points. Triple J had 23. Didn't really do much else. 1 rebound, 1 assist, no blocks. John Morant, 36 points, 6 dimes. Desmond Bane, 28 points, 9 assists, and 6 boards. Bane has been great on those combo props lately. The points, rebounds, assists. But Memphis, Minnesota, Golden State, all now tied at 47 and 33 in the cluster, the absolute cluster that is the Western Conference standings. Lakers are a win away from clinching the 3. Denver and the Clippers, both 48 and 32, sitting there at 4 and 5. And then Memphis, Golden State, and Minnesota awaiting on the tiebreaker order to be released. But those 3 teams, all 47 and 33, with 2 games to play in the NBA season. What a finish that's going to be. Hey, folks, the VSiN Summer Special is here, and it's the best deal of the season. For just $59, you'll get full VSiN Pro access to everything we do from now through August 1st. That's 50% off the regular monthly price. From Augusta to the draft, baseball, hoops, and hockey, VSiN Pro's got you covered all summer long. Sign up now, get expert picks, including all of our best bets for the Masters, exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video, plus our Kentucky Derby betting guide, and the NFL betting guide when it drops this summer, giving you a head start on football season. Every sport, every edge, just one price. Get full access now through August 1st, $59, VSiN.com/subscribe. Let's look at Thursday on the Diamond. What an offensive eruption it was for the Angels in Tampa. Those minor league parks have played well to offense. 6 home runs for the Angels. 4 in the 5th, 2 of them in the 5th inning by Joe Adell. How about the youngster? Everyone's always waiting for Joe Adell to bust out, break out. 2 home runs in the same inning. Leadoff hitter, Taylor Ward. Mike Trout, also 2 home runs. So 6 homers for the Angels. They improve to 8-4 as they gear up for a weekend series against the Astros. Last I saw, you could get the Angels that weekend set almost 2-1. It's going to be an interesting series price. We'll look at that later on in the program because the Houston Astros, second year in a row, they're starting a bit slow. And this Angels team, do I think the Angels are going to be contending for that division come September? Honestly, no, I don't. But right now, they're mashing. Right now, they've got the best offense in the AL West through a dozen or so games. And with the Astros starting slow, and really that lineup in Houston falling off a cliff once you get past Altuve and Alvarez, who's been off to a slow start himself. I mean, Cam Smith can't hit the side of a barn right now. The rookie, he's been a strikeout machine for Houston. Bottom of the lineup's been ugly. Jeremy Pena, forget the Mendoza line. He's barely hitting a buck. I wouldn't put it past the Angels to take 2 out of 3, even on the road, getting them at about plus 185, plus 190 on that series price against Houston. Kansas City pitched their way to a series win against Minnesota. Bailey Ober, some people spoke about Bailey Ober as a long shot in the Cy Young market. One of those guys might be joining the show here shortly. But Bailey Ober, he went 6 innings, 1 run. He looked good, as did Michael Wacha. Royals' bullpen was the difference here. Minnesota's bullpen gave up a couple. Kansas City's held firm, only gave up a couple of hits, no runs, as the Royals improved to 7-6. My pick to win the AL Central. Boston Red Sox fought off the 4-game sweep at home against Toronto. Jays dropped to 8-6. Sox improved to 7-7. They've been a weird team to figure. It's early, but they've been weird. You lose 3 out of 4 to start the year. You're going a 5 out of 6 stretch, putting up football scores against St. Louis. You stay at home after you sweep the Cardinals. You got Toronto coming into town. Everyone's picked for last place. And boom, you drop 3 in a row. Took extras, but they got back in the win column. Boston, 7-7. Still not worried. Still like that team to win the AL East. Red Sox diehard coming up. Josh Fisher joins the show. You don't want to miss it right here. Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues, taking you through the late hours of your Thursday night, into your weekend, into your Friday morning, and now taking you over to the Progressive Guest Line as we welcome in friend of the show. You can catch him weekly on ESPN Austin down there, creator of Stripe Sports on social media, our buddy Josh Fisher joining us. Josh, how are you, my friend?
Beautiful. It's one of the best days of the year. I actually genuinely love the Masters. I think it's a fantastic tournament. I think if you put it, it's better than the Super Bowl, and I love football more than golf, undoubtedly. It's
better than the Super Bowl, really? Why?
The Masters? Yes. The Masters is 4 days of electric golf. I mean, today was fantastic. Rory was -4, that had an utter collapse. How much money, how much of the handles on Rory? Like, this is supposed to be his year. Now he's even. Ludwig was great down the stretch. Scotty obviously delivered. Justin Rose doing Justin Rose things. You know he's going to be sick for the first 3 days and on Sunday have an utter meltdown. It was just a DeChambeau is like my new pick. I mean, I'm gonna cut you off for having me do it. I'm gonna tell you right flat out plus 1,000. I think is what he's at right now. He might be higher.
He's actually down to plus 650 because he looked good. Yeah,
I think last year I looked at it and I'm like, maybe he figured the course out because he was notoriously not good in Augusta. Maybe he figured the course out, but we'll have to see him do it another year before we can actually make an assessment. I really believe he's figured this course out, and he's firing on all cylinders. He's locked in. Like, I think he's really looking to make a stamp. And if anyone's going to really contend with Scotty, that I actually have confidence in, like, putting on the green jacket and not Scotty going back to back, I really truthfully believe it's Bryson DeChambeau right now. And I think plus 650 is still great, even though it's not plus 1,000.
Yeah, he's the third shot on the board. Scotty 2-1, Ludwig the Swede 6-1, DeChambeau plus 650, and then Justin Rose 7 under, sitting with a 3-stroke lead over the 3-way tie for second. Rose is plus 750. You wouldn't take a shot at Rose? You don't think Rose, this might be the year that he puts it together for 4 rounds instead of 3?
No, I don't. In previous times, I've done my share of pools and such, and there was a year I was in a position to win a pretty penny, and one golfer on day 4 had an utter collapse, and his name was Justin Rose.
Oh,
and since then, I know it's death, taxes, and Justin Rose on Sunday will not get it done. He's a good golfer. He's had an unbelievable career. I just know how this story goes. The guy I typically bet with, like one of my cousin, not my buddy, like my literal brother, pretty much. He and I do golf together every Masters. Like we have our picks, right? And we were talking about putting Justin Rose in there. The conversation always comes up, and the conversation's always the same. Like we know he's going to collapse. And I texted my cousin today. I was like, "When's it coming?" And my cousin goes, "He bogeyed the 18th hole. It's coming tomorrow." So
just
like
off
he did.
the 18th hole. That's it. That's
I'm rooting for the guy. I'm 100% rooting for the guy. I would love to see him continue to be successful. This is awesome. But all that to be said, I think Colin's going to get it together a little bit. I'm sure Rory's going to have a nice bounce back day. Connors is always in the mix. I wouldn't put money on him to win, but I like that. I like that top 5 finish for Connors. Like I really think he's got a good grip on this. Lowry always plays the course well, and Hovland was sneaky at the end of the day. So like it's a really good tournament so far. It's better than the Super Bowl. Like it was already better than the Super Bowl this year. Like automatically, year, Super Bowl this year is like it's such like a hit or miss.
Yeah,
the game has to be really good.
My breakfast today was better than the Super Bowl this year. I mean, let's call it what it is.
Okay. Yeah, the 2 Super Bowls before, Niners, Chiefs, Eagles, Chiefs, fantastic. But there has been some Super Bowls that have been like Bucks, Chiefs, meh. Bengals, Rams, good. Patriots, Rams,
terrible. Yeah.
Like there's been a couple like
Bucks, Chiefs was
Seahawks,
31-9. Best part about that Super Bowl was I was sitting on the 20-yard line for that one. That was like the sickest seats of my life.
Yeah, wasted. The Super Bowl stunts.
Yeah, Super Bowl was terrible. The weekend was all right. It was a pretty decent halftime show. That was the COVID Super Bowl. So every 2 seats were blocked off. I actually had my feet up. I was field level 20-yard line and had my feet up on the seats in front of me because you had me and the person I was with, 2 seats to our right, 2 seats to our left, 2 seats in front and back, all blocked off.
That is so wild.
It was weird. It was really
weird experience.
Yeah.
Nice you got to see Tom win. That's cool.
Yeah, got to see Tom and Patrick in person. How cool is that, right? Even though the game was a blowout.
You kidding me? The last time I saw Tom, no, I saw him when he played for the Bucks, but last time I saw him in Foxborough, it was pouring rain, 33 degrees. So just above freezing. And I was miserable. I was hungover. It was not a good look.
That's football weather, man.
Dude, yeah, it was freezing. Like the hot cocoa was like turning into ice. Even the Northeast fishermen were like, "Yo, this is cold."
Right.
When they were buckling to their knees, I'm like, dude, I might not make it back from Foxborough. I might be Toast Malone out here. This could be the last of me.
You're not tough enough for that. We all knew that. So DeChambeau plus 650 live in the Masters. You got a little piece of an MLB future you're interested in to win the World Series? What's the call? What do you like?
I love Philadelphia if I'm not picking the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. But if I'm like, hey, I want some juice outside of Los Angeles, it's so early to make any kind of call. And like, oh, that's the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
My Rookie of the Year pick off to a fantastic start. Am I cashing the ticket yet? Absolutely not. Am I tipping my hat for the first 10th of the season? Yeah, of course. But all that to be said, anything can happen. It's baseball. It's a massive game of adjustments. All that to be said, if we've seen a guy be good in the past, kind of, stink for a little bit, but then he's kind of resurrected a little bit with a new change of scenery and he's pitching well again, like that's what like the one exception to being like, okay, like we've seen this guy be good before. So we don't have to like pump our brakes, right? He's not coming out of nowhere. He's not that Paris kid on the Angels where we have to see him like do it for more than a month, 2 months, really put it together, right? Like, so that guy to me is Jesus Luzardo. I love Christopher Sanchez. I think he's got great stuff. Obviously, Wheeler and Nola, we know what those dudes are. If Luzardo is like a real, like, number 3, number 4, and like they have that 1, 2, 3, 4, they're going to win the division. The Braves, forget the whole, like they're incessantly banged up, right? Strider and Acuna will be back, and that will change the rotation and lineup. But the other 2 teams are dangerous. I love the Mets lineup to death. Their pitching, to me, just, if you were rolling
best ERA in baseball so far.
It's like on how, like, dude, like Clay Holmes' whip is almost a 2. He's at a 1.7 whip. It's like by the grace of God that he doesn't have like a gazillion ERA.
Well, even you look at the loss to Miami to wrap up the series, and Tyler McGill gave up 2 runs. They were both unearned. traffic, but they're
100%.
navigating. They're working around traffic. But the bullpen ERA, the team ERA has been great, and they're going to get Sean Manaea back. They're going to get Frankie Montas back. I feel good about them.
I'm not hanging my hat on Frankie Montas like I'm hanging my hat on Jesus Luzardo. Obviously, Manaea I like a ton. Like, he's another guy. Like, we've seen him be really good before. Like, Frankie Montas has not been good in a long stretch and has looked bad in the previous two stops. Do I have faith? Do I have hope? Sure. I would love the team if you were rolling out one of Peterson, McGill, and Canning as like your, but not as right now as your 3, 4, 5. That to me is like plus with the Clay Holmes experiment, plus with Senga, who probably in some capacity should be on an innings limit. Like, I love the Mets lineup. I like their bullpen. I think they can win the division for sure. I still feel more confident in the Phillies. And plus, the Phillies are in a position if Alec Boehm continues to stink it up, like, they're going to move him to St. Louis, and they're going to go get Nolan Arenado, and you heard it here first. Like, that's like, oh, we didn't make any moves in the offseason. We want to keep the band together. They're just waiting in the wings for someone to kind of want to blow it up, and then they're going to make their move when they need to after they assess what Alec Boehm really is.
That's a statement. Phillies plus 115 to win the NL East right now. Mets plus $1.80. Braves plus 275. Josh, the AL West, the Rangers plus 105 to win it. Houston sitting there at 2-1, coming off a slow start to the season. Final minute here. Would you take Houston at 2-1?
Yeah, for sure. I like the Rangers, but the Rangers MO, like, you want another team that gets dinged up, like, all right, we've got DeGrom, like, when's that, one of the wheels going to fall off? Like, I love him, you love him, like, when he's on, he's like one of the best, but like, until proven otherwise, one of the wheels going to fall off. Already, like, Wyatt Langford, shout out my biggest buy-in fantasy team, like, in an auction league, went $20 for the kid, like, oblique injury, we know how those go in baseball, linger the entire year, hopefully not, but likely. So, I don't know. The Jers, a ton of fun players, great lineup. Leiter's already hurt. Like, that's unfortunately been their MO as of late, is like them getting dinged up. When push comes to shove, it's not like Houston's like start off like the Braves. Valdez has looked great. Browns look great. They have a good back end in the bullpen. Paredes will be fine. Alvarez is going to be fine. Yanier Diaz is going to be fine. Like, the bats are going to come alive at some point, and they're also going to be a team that's in a position to make another move. Like, they know how to do this. It's Houston. Yep. Houston gets to the playoffs, man. They get to the playoffs. Like, that's what their organization is. Like, they know how to get, and they are going to get there.
Like
in
clockwork.
Some capacity.
Astros 2-1 to win the division. Folks, if you're ready to get into the action, our friends at First Bet have got you covered. Sign up now. You can access exclusive promotions, bet on hundreds of horse races every day right from your phone or computer. Just go to firstbet.com. It's the number one stbet.com. Promo code VEASAN200, 20% rebate. All wagers first 60 days up to $200. Don't miss out. Start betting now. Firstbet.com.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues here on VSiN with me, Joe Ceraulo. We've got Josh Fisher, creator of Stripe Sports. You can also catch him on ESPN Austin Weekly with us on the Progressive Guest Line here. Going to dive into some of Josh's early 2025 NFL draft bets shortly. He's got his Masters ticket on Bryson DeChambeau. Thinks this is the year coming off last year. What was DeChambeau last year, Josh? 6th? That was his best finish ever at Augusta a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, by far his best finish at Augusta. Yeah, but I mean, whoa. He's not my pick to win. I just love it. I love the price.
Okay.
I am not going. You think I'm going against? Come on, man. I'm not going against Scotty. Get out of here. Kick rocks at that.
I mean, hey, look, I'd respect you if you gave out DeChambeau. I wouldn't respect you if you took Scotty at 2-1. Like, that's, we can't be giving out short shots like that.
I think we're about to get into some. I'm usually not like that. I love the juice. I love taking the value, like a big, like chunky value bet that we'll have some of that in this NFL draft segment. But there's some picks that I'm just like, cash the ticket. It's going to happen.
Yeah, so you're laying $3, Travis Hunter to go number 2?
I think it's first of all, the draft's in 2 weeks, and I think it's a done deal. He's the best player. They are the two best players in the draft, him and Abdul Carter. And if he is what he's supposed to be, how do you pass up on that? Like, what if he's your cornerback 2 and your wide receiver 2? Like, forget him being like cornerback 1 and wide receiver 1. Forget that. If he's your cornerback 2 and your wide receiver 2, like if he's playing a good cornerback 2 and he's giving you 800 yards in the air, 950 and 900 yards in the air a year, and you're two for the price of one. I mean, come on, man. How worth it is that? Like, he doesn't have to be Shohei Ohtani, like 1,600 receiving yards, 17 picks, like, gazillion.
Is that what Ohtani would do in the NFL? 17 picks?
Probably. I mean, come on, dude. The guy would go off. He'd have like 15. He'd have like 15 sacks, throw like 40 touchdowns, and run in for 15. Like, the guy would be like Johnny Manziel and Charles Woodson and Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney combined, collegiately.
I was going to say collegiately with the Manziel and Clowney comparisons. I
was like blowing up the stats. I was giving you like college level stats, but yeah, I think, and the Browns and the Giants are not in a position where they have to take a quarter. They have to force the hand on the quarterback when there's those two guys on the board, especially like the Giants. They just brought in Russ. Who they could figure games out with. Jameis too. They could get into that Arch Manning, Nussmeier, Drew Aller cycle next year, and someone's going to come out of the woodwork. We know how the draft goes, right? We know the college football season goes. There's always a quarterback that pops up. And then go get Abdul Carter, who could be an absolute home wrecker. You've already brought in Burns. We'll see what they do with Kayvon. Like, they could trade him, or they could keep all three of the guys and have a great rotation. Like, you have Dexter Lawrence already up the middle, which is perfect. Like, you could really have a dangerous front seven if you bring him in. And that's something you need. Like, look how your rival just won the Super Bowl. I don't care. Obviously, their offense was, stacked, but all that to be said, it didn't matter. They could have scored, how many points? And they probably would have won. Like, their defense and front seven was so ferocious and deep. Like, no one thinks about depth enough in the line, offensive line and defensive line. Having the depth at those positions is so vital. And if the Giants want to go and do that, I think it's a fantastic move. So I love the draft going Ward, Hunter, Carter, Will Campbell, and then I guess the chalk pick is Mason Graham to Jacksonville, unless the Raiders move to 6 and take him, whatever. Like, that's like the chalk pick. I think the Jags should take Tyler Warren. I'm not going to advise people to throw juice on that. I think it's kind of a wild card pick. That's just my personal opinion on what they should do.
Jags are sitting there at what, 5th?
5th, yeah.
Warren, 17-1, 6th shot on the board.
I mean, if you want to throw a couple shekels on it, like, go for it. Like, I could sell you, want me to right now, I'll sell you this pen. Like, I think it makes utter sense for them to take him. Ingram gone. When Trevor was cooking, he had Ingram for 110 catches.
Right.
Strange is not a tight end one. You need help blocking, sure, but you need help in the run game blocking. Tyler Warren can do that. He can run every route. He's a fantastic athlete.
Could also run the
top
ball.
Teams. Yeah, no, he's like a real, like, I'm not saying he's going to be this guy, but his ceiling is like a Kittle. His impact could be like a Laporta or a Bowers. Like, that'd be amazing. But like, his impact could be like a Laporta as a rookie.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
the way he plays the game, honestly, I look at Tyler Warren and I see a little bit of, and he's not a guy people want to talk about. I see a little bit of Aaron Hernandez in his game.
Way bigger.
But fast, great hands. I mean, remember, Hernandez was a guy who would get early in his career occasional carries. Tyler Warren would occasionally get carries for Penn State.
Sure, but he's way bigger. Hernandez is like more of a receiving tight end. Like,
right.
This guy's like a do-it-all tight end. Like a receiving, like Harold Fannin Jr. would be like the receiving tight end in this group from Bowling Green, who I like a ton. Like, Jags could take him with one of their 2 third-round picks, but I mean, that's what I would like. But those are like the first 4 picks I really think are going to happen, and I think as we I mean, the Ward thing is signed, sealed, delivered. Jack Hobbs locked it in for 20 million rupees. There's your Slumdog Millionaire reference for the night, and then I think Hunter, Carter, Campbell follow suit, and I think that's pretty. The first 2 and 3 are set in stone. 4 is going to be set in stone as the weeks go on, unless something crazy happens. And Abdul Carter, the foot thing, when he drops to the Patriots. But I think the Giants still stay. I think the Giants still take the swing no matter what.
I'll tell you what, it's interesting because our buddy Joe DeLeon comes on the show a little earlier in the week than you. He's got Carter going 2nd to Cleveland. He thinks the Browns' approach is going to be establish the best pass rush in football. Garrett, Carter.
I love it.
And then, I mean, look, as a Giants fan, I'm hoping that's what goes down because I love Travis Hunter on the Giants. And the Giants do have a pretty strong D-line. Like, I just feel like Carter would be adding to his strength, and then it's like there's so many other weaknesses. But Carter minus 250 right now to go number 3, which would be, barring a trade, the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a ton of sense. Like, it's a strength that, like, if you're an 8.5 out of 10, like, why not be a 10 out of 10? Like, why not going, we have a really good defensive front? To like, the Giants have the best defensive front. Do you remember the last time the Giants had the best defensive front?
Yeah, they won a couple of Super Bowls when they had great defensive lines. Okay. So, problem is the other side of the trenches right now in shambles for the Giants. They had some great O-lines, too, when they were winning Super Bowls.
It can be figured out, man. Like, it's not. It's in a better spot. It's in a way better spot, in my opinion.
I think the O-line's dreadful. Let's look at some of these team props that you have. Arizona Cardinals. What do you like them to do? Finally, some plus money territory here.
Oh yeah, some plus money territory. I like the Cardinals to go defensive line or edge. If it was like one of the two positions, I feel a little more wonky about it. I think there's a ton of guys they could look at. I think Mike Green's on the table if he's there for Marshall. James Pierce Jr., who they've met with from Tennessee. Both those guys super athletic. They brought in Sweat, but they need help rushing the pass. I think both those guys are on the table. I think Kenneth Grant, defensive lineman, Walter Nolan, defensive lineman. I realistically think it's going to be one of those four guys, unless Jahdae Barron, my guy from Texas, the cornerback, is still on the board and they're enticed by him, which they should be. He could be a number one corner, and he's extremely versatile in the defensive backfield. Great athlete. He's the guy you love because his game got better every single season. He went an upwards trajectory where you'll see some guys and they're like, oh, he was really good, 2 years ago, and he's got potential. But no, Jahdae has continuously improved his game. I think he'll be off the board by the time 16 rolls around. So I like one of those four guys going to Arizona, and at that point, I'm going to take that plus money bet.
How about Ashton Genty? I'm curious because he's minus 150 to go to the Raiders. They're the favorite. It would be a crazy pick to me because running back's a luxury pick that early. The Raiders need so much more. But I'll ask you in a minute where you think Genty goes. You have the Raiders doing something else here at over 4-1?
I think they like Jahdae. Who's their coach, man? Like, who's their coach and who's their offensive coordinator? Like, yeah. I know I've had Genty. First of all, I've had Genty to the Raiders. There's video on it. I think maybe one of the longest of people like covering the draft. Like we do draft stuff every day. Like, I think I've had him maybe the longest. We're close to it. Like, I've been on that for months, not months, but almost 2 months. I think I'm not changing my mind necessarily, but I'm trying to read the tea leaves. Their offensive coordinator is Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly just won the national championship. His running backs are Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Both these guys are in the draft. Both these guys are going to be there in the second round when the Raiders pick again. Okay? And we know those guys are studs. Like, maybe not as good as Genty, but we know they're studs. Pete Carroll, when he was at his best, in a boom, right? Great defensive backfield.
Absolutely.
Why not go get what could be the best corner in this draft in Jahdae Barron? And at that point, at plus 420, I'm kind of into it. I like that. I like the Cowboys with either McMillan, which yes, he can fall to 12, or Golden, like Matthew Golden from Texas. Like, I think Golden actually complements CD a little bit better, but McMillan, I think is getting some prospect fatigue, and he was the bona fide wide receiver one all season long. And I really do think he can be a stud at the next level. His separation's a little weak, but outside of that, I mean, the guy's made some spectacular catches at the college level. So I think the Cowboys are going to go with one of those two guys, and that's also plus money at wide receiver. So I like that. And I think I had one more for you.
Tampa Bay?
Yeah, give me Jahad Campbell, one of my favorite players in this draft. You heard it here first. He's such a Bulls guy. He's such a replace David Bulls guy. Like, they need to get younger at the linebacker spot. Jahad Campbell is like perfect fit in Tampa Bay at 19. I love it. I'm obsessed with that pick.
I love it.
Unless
Josh,
he goes to Atlanta.
Great stuff, my man. Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate the draft breakdown. 2 weeks away from the draft. We'll talk more next week.
Get me on with Delio, and I want the smoke.
We might have to make that happen before the draft. We might actually have to do that. Josh Fisher, make sure you follow Stripe Sports on social media. Catch him weekly on ESPN Austin. We'll dive more into Friday's MLB slate. Up next, it's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo, locked in on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Thursday night, getting you ready for your weekend here on the program as we continue getting ready to handicap this Friday MLB slate. More lines, more odds pouring in as the show progresses. We'll take a look at some of them, try to find some winners on the card for Friday. Something that caught my attention earlier in the show, not sure if it's been posted yet, and it looks like it's still not up, is the Dodgers to not bat bottom of the ninth against the Cubs. That one intrigues me. Yamamoto going opposite Matthew Boyd, the veteran lefty for the Cubs, who was not allowed to run yet this year. Yamamoto's looked pretty great in his own right to start the season. Current Cubs hitters against Yoshinobu Yamamoto, just 5 for 39 with 15 strikeouts through his year plus here in the U.S. with the Dodgers. So Dodgers, $2 favorites. Can't get to the counter on a number like that, but we'll be looking if maybe we can shorten that 50 cents or so at the Dodgers to not bat in the bottom of the ninth. So essentially saying that they'll win, and it won't be of the walk-off variety. Usually a good way to save yourself anywhere from 30 to 70 points. There's no necessary rhyme or reason. There's no consistency necessarily when it comes to that, but typically a 30 to 70 cent saver right there by going home team no bat bottom 9 as opposed to money line. Interesting pitching matchup. Speaking of Japanese pitchers, Orioles, Blue Jays, Sugano going for the O's. Had a rough first start. Looked really good his last time out. Bowden Francis for the Jays. The youngster who last year down the stretch was absolutely sensational. Made some Bowden Francis money. Gave out some Bowden Francis winners when cashing out started last September 2024. Francis had that stretch where it was it back-to-back starts of no-hitters into the 8th inning? It was something absolutely absurd for the 28-year-old out of Tallahassee. But Francis, let's pull up how he finished last season. Because it seemed like every time he went out there, here we go. He had a stretch where 3 out of 4 starts, he allowed 1 hit. Actually, wow, it was 4 out of 6 starts. So 3 out of 4 and 4 out of 6. It was August 12th against the Angels. I believe he had 7 no-hit innings, gave up 1 solo home run. That was it. Then, against the Angels. It might have been this one. 8 no-hit innings, gave up again 1 solo home run. K'd 20 in those 2 games. Then against the Red Sox, 7 innings of 1 hit ball. And against my Mets on Wednesday, the 11th of September last year, he was through 8 no-hit innings. Francisco Lindor led off the 9th with a solo home run. 3 times in that 6-start stretch, the only hit he allowed was a solo home run. He was absolutely insane. Had a sub-2 ERA from August 1st on. That was how many starts? Not going to count the start against the Yankees where he pitched a third of an inning. But that was how many other starts there? 9 starts. He had a sub-2 ERA down the stretch a year ago. So Bowden Francis has been great, taking on the Orioles, who in his career against Baltimore, O's hitters against Bowden Francis, 12 of 45, 9 strikeouts. Pretty middle-of-the-road stuff. Ryan Mountcastle is he's inflated those stats. Mountcastle's 5 for 7 against them, 4 extra base hits, 2 home runs. The rest of the O's are just 7 for 38. So it's really all been Mountcastle, who's owned Francis. If you want to get a piece of maybe a Ryan Mountcastle home run prop on Friday, he's got 2 and 7 ABs. That's pretty impressive. But let's pull up some Francis props if they're out there on the market. Still waiting on a lot of these to trickle on through. Do we have any Mountcastle odds? That would be, he'd be a guy maybe hits, runs, RBIs. Look at something for him. Can't go hits. It's over a half a hit is minus 175. Francis, 4.5 Ks. I don't know if I want to touch that. We don't have outs recorded yet. Earned runs allowed, maybe under 2.5. You'd have to lay 40 cents, but Francis has, I believe, stayed under this mark. He's allowed 2 earned each start this season. I mean, even going back to last year, he allowed only 3 earned or more once in his last 9 starts. Francis, under 2.5 earned runs, been a pretty safe play. His last 11 starts, he's done it 10 times. 40 cents a juice ain't my favorite, but under 2.5 earned runs, Bowden Francis, something worth a look. Ryan Mountcastle, in this one, the guy who's 5 for 7 against him. You can get him not seeing a home run play yet. RBIs, over a half an RBI is plus 220. So that's juicier than I would say your standard RBI play for Mountcastle there. Let's see if we have better luck looking up a home run play here on DraftKings. Ryan Mountcastle on DraftKings, home run plus 750. Might be worth the sprinkle. Just because he's got the success, he knows the pitcher, 5 for 7, 2 doubles, 2 home runs against Bowden Francis. Folks, we got good news for you. You can take VSiN with you now, anywhere, anytime. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today and stay connected to the action wherever you go with the new and improved VSiN Watch app. It's available on your phone, tablet, and smart TV. With the VSiN Watch app, you'll get 24/7 live access to our audio and video streams, replays of your favorite shows so you never miss a moment, big screen streaming straight to your smart TV, and more. So watch VSiN anywhere. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Red Sox taking on the White Sox. They just got back in the win column with a win over the Toronto Blue Jays in extras. Boston sending Sean Newcomb, former Brave, to the bump. Doug Martin going for the White Sox. Both pitchers with ERAs over 5. Davis Martin going for the White Sox. Both pitchers with ERAs over 5. Chicago started 2-2. They've lost 8 in a row now. Sox just lost 3 out of 4 following a stretch where they won 5 out of 6. And before that, they lost 3 out of 4. So they've been a streaky, weird team to figure through 14 games. Laying 75 cents are the Red Sox on the money line in the South Side. Angels Astros. This series intrigues me. We're going to dive into this a little deeper shortly. But Ronel Blanco, through 2 starts, has an ERA north of 9 for Houston. He's on the bump. The Astros 50-cent favorites against the Angels with Kachanowicz out there for Anaheim. Aaron Nola getting the go for Philly as, hey, Philly's taking the lead. Look at this. They're going to add on now. Oh, no. Braves tying it. Bottom of the 11th. Wow. Braves. Phillies made it 2-1 in the top of the 11th. Braves making it 2-2 in this game that is still going on. As on the East Coast, it is nearing 1 a.m. and they're playing baseball in Atlanta. 2-2, bottom of the 11th. Braves have a guy on second, none out, trying to walk it off before the clock strikes 1 a.m. Eastern Friday morning. Crazy. Atlanta headed to Tampa to take on Taj Bradley and the Rays in a minor league park. Philly, as I mentioned, Aaron Nola. You have to wonder if he already got the private plane treatment, if he got sent off to St. Louis ahead of the rest of the team, because they're going to get into St. Louis at about 6 in the morning at this rate. And Nola's got a pitch at, what's St. Louis? Central Time, 7:15 local time. He's 0-2. He's been terrible to start the year. ERA north of 6. Going up against Andre Palante, the Phillies are 35-cent favorites in that one. And I'll tell you what, normally Nola, Palante, Phillies, Cardinals, I'd say back the Phillies. This might be a spot worth taking St. Louis because the Phillies are getting in so late. Marcell Ozuna, walk-off homer. Wow. Braves, 2 batters, bottom of the 11th, 3 runs, 4-2. Atlanta wins it. Still stayed under, despite a combined, 4 runs in the 11th inning alone. I believe this one's, definitely still stayed under, even though it had a low total, only about 7.5. First 5 total was 3.5. Wanted to get there on a first 5 total with Luzardo, Schwellenbach. Couldn't go under 3.5. Ended up hitting 1-1 after 5. I mean, it was 1-1 into the 11th in this one. So the Braves walk it off. They'll head to Tampa, much shorter trip than the Phils. Bryce Elder going to be on the bump opposite Taj Bradley. The Rays were 20-cent favorites. I believe you can get them, if you shop around, best price in town, Tampa minus 12 cents. So they're ranging between minus 12 and minus 25 cents. Atlanta is ranging between actually minus 5 cents and plus 12 cents. So you always got to shop around. Baseball, you'll find more variance than pretty much any other sport. Might be a good spot to take Tampa. Taj Bradley, a pitcher with great stuff, at home against Bryce Elder, a guy who pitches to contact, playing in a bandbox of a minor league park. Tampa Bay might be the right play, hosting Atlanta as the Braves and Phillies game goes till 1 a.m. Eastern. A new hour of Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo up next after the break.